Hi, and welcome to another episode of It's Just Racing, hosted by Jim and Jim. I'm Jim,
And I'm Jim.
and we're here to talk about racing. To start off, it's a big sprint car week in the state of Wisconsin. We had two high limit races and three World of Outlaws races scheduled in the span of 6 days. Well, the race Tuesday got rained out and moved to Wednesday, so really it was five big money sprint car races in 5 days. Starting off at Red Cedar, Rico Abreu won. Oh, I didn't bring my little Rico guy. Man. All right, Rico won the first one. It was a high limits race at Red Cedar. 141 Speedway, the last track I ever raced at in my life. Local boy Travis Aarons won the $26,000 check. That was always fun to see the locals win when the big boys come to town. Next down, they moved to Plymouth. Now, there's a little bit of drama. This was a World of Outlaws show and not a High Limits show. And World of Outlaws would not allow the High Limits guys to bring their merchandise trailers onto the grounds. So they had to set up their merchandise trailers off track. And that didn't work. I think it kind of pissed off the High Limits guys. Rico won again. Where's my little Rico? I can't believe I forgot my Rico picture. He Buddy Kofoid threw a really sketchy slider, but Rico survived the contact and went on to win. Moved on to Beaver Dam. Brad Sweet, co-owner of the High Limits Sprint Car Series, won that World of Outlaws show. So we've got Rico, and then we've got Travis Aarons, and then we've got Rico again, and then we've got Brad Sweet. So far, there's no World Outlaws winners. And as always seems to be the case, Sun Prairie got rained out on Sunday. So the fifth race in 5 days did not happen. But Rico, a true outlaw, races wherever he wants. Doesn't follow any series. 1-2. A local guy won one. And a high limits guy won one. And the World of Outlaws guys didn't win any. Interesting.
Moving over to the world of biking, I suppose. MotoGP was in Spain, and just a note, Marc Marquez, it was his home race, and he extended his championship lead over his brother Alex with a Grand Slam win. He qualified on the pole, led every lap of the sprint race and the Grand Prix, and won them both. So he's got a pretty big championship lead now.
So he can probably just sit and watch the next couple races?
No, every race matters, because just one mistake, you fall off the bike and you're out of the race. So it's a big lead, but there's a lot of time left.
All right, moving on to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Luke Fenhouse was on the pole. He led a whole lap until Carson Hocevar got by. Carson Hocevar still can drive a truck, can he?
You know, he's been having a real good year.
Hocevar led. Connor Mozak, Carson Hocevar, Corey Heim. They were in a three-truck battle for quite a while. Heim did come victorious in stage one. All that guy does is win stages and win races, huh? Stage two, Corey Heim was leading and had another good battle with Heim and Hocevar. Ty Majeski, top three. They ran away and fought amongst themselves. Hocevar got some debris on his grill. Engine temp was getting up there, so he had to let Corey Heim by, and he never got the lead back, and Corey Heim won another stage. Stage three, Carson Hocevar had the lead again. There was a single truck spin. And then we got stupid. After two fantastic stages, some really good racing, they started to NASCAR again. So, as I said, stage three, Hocevar started with the lead. We had a caution for a single truck spin. A restart, another caution. Rajah Caruth tried to stick it right up the middle 3 wide, and that didn't work. Next restart, we got 2 green flag laps in, and then there was a 2-truck crash. And then for some reason, they drove around for like 5-6 laps under yellow, and then decided to throw the red because there was a hole in the wall, so they had to repair the wall. And then they drove around yellow some more. Why do they waste so many laps?
That's a classic NASCAR race control moment.
It's unbelievable. So with the timing, that led to a lot of different pit strategies. Everybody was trying everything different and throw it against the wall and seeing if they could make it stick. So Grant Enfinger ended up with the lead on the restart. It was a great 5-truck battle. It's Grant Enfinger, Ross Chastain, Lane Riggs, of course Corey Heim and Carson Hocevar were up there. 12 to go. Chastain was leading. Dude got full on sideways, saved it, but lost the lead. Hocevar got the lead when Chastain went all crazy. Then a lap later, there was a caution for a tire carcass. Yeah, so debris caution, my favorite. Under caution, Hocevar had to pit because he had a tire going down. So he lost his lead, and then they drove around under caution for 6 laps to remove a tire carcass. Very impressive. And then, was it stupid again?
I would assume so.
Yes. Green, white, checkered. No, sorry. I skipped one. There were so many crashes that I forgot one. Restart with 5 to go after driving around for 6 laps under caution for a tire carcass. There's a 10-truck wreck. The first row didn't go immediately in the start zone, which is their prerogative. The second row decided they wanted to go. So Corey Heim and
Tanner
Gray?
Yeah.
I don't know, one of the Grays, whichever Gray's running trucks.
That'd be Tanner Gray in the 15.
They both drove through the front row. There was a 10-car wreck. It was just stupid. So then we have a green, white, checkered. Corey LaJoie with the lead in his first drive for Spire in the trucks this year. Had the lead for a lap. Hemrick blew a tire into the wall. Green, white, checker number 2. Grant Enfinger had the lead this time, and there's a 4-truck wreck. Green, white, checkered number 3. So, you can choose where you want to be on these restarts. Started this a few days ago. As the kids would say, a minute ago. Or, it's been a minute. What do you say, you kids?
I don't know what the kids say.
They started this a few years back, copying Slinger Super Speedway, and they've got the choose. Everybody chose the top. First 3 guys chose to stop. The Stuart Friesen, being the old 40-plus-year-old guy, says, hell, I'll take the front row. So he went from 4th to 1st, hung on to it on the restart, and won the race. Good job, Stuart Friesen. That was awesome to see old Stewie win.
It's been a while since he won, and he's had a bad year so far.
He's had a horrible year so far. So that was great to see Stuart win a race finally. Moving on to the Empty Cup race. Chase Briscoe once again on the pole, 3rd pole in a row.
That Gibbs equipment is pretty fast.
If only they could perform in a race.
That is the important part.
But, hey, Chase Briscoe got the pole. Good for him. He led about 10 laps, and then William Byron took the lead. Byron and Chris Buescher just pulled away. Buescher took the lead from Byron with probably 10 laps to go and ended up winning stage 1. Stage 2, Ryan Blaney got the lead right off the start until Chase Elliott blew by him to get it, and there was a caution for a 2-car spin. On the ensuing restart, somebody tried to go 4 wide. I want to say it was Austin Cindric. I'm not sure though, so I apologize if it wasn't. caused a little bit of an issue. Bowman had a hard hit head first into the wall. Good thing for the safer barriers. He was okay. Car is back at NASCAR's R&D to make sure everything worked the way it was supposed to as far as impact absorption and such. NASCAR ended up throwing a red flag just to get everything cleaned up. Everybody pitted except Chase Elliott. Not sure what his strategy was. He led the restart until another single car spin by John Hunter Nemechek would be his second of the day. Now, back when I raced, if you had 2 unassisted spins, you were black flagged. That doesn't happen in NASCAR. So, Chase Elliott decided to pit this time, so he gave up his lead. Don't know what they were trying there. William Byron got the lead on the next restart, and him and Christopher Bell just took off. Bell had to pit from second. Whatever strategy they were trying didn't work. There was no way he was going to be able to finish the stage. So I'm not quite sure what they were doing. But he had to pit. And then to add insult to injury, the lap after Christopher Bell pits, there's another single car spin. So it really didn't work for Bell at all having to pit. Because then everybody pitted. Oh, that was great. Actually, it wasn't, because I like Christopher Bell. But it's always funny when strategy doesn't work. As fun as it is when strategy does work.
I don't think it's funny when strategy doesn't work.
Well,
but that's because I'm a strategist.
You got 3 wins already. They figure, hey, what the hell, we'll try it. They obviously don't care. Because all that matters is you get a win and then you're in the playoffs. So the rest of the season doesn't matter, right?
Sure. Yeah. That's what NASCAR wants.
So, on the restart, Austin Cindric, Tyler Reddick, William Byron had a good fight. Well, not a fight. It was nice, clean racing, actually. Byron won the end of the stage. Start stage 3, Byron had the lead again with 53 laps to go. Now, that's important, 53 laps. Todd Gilliland blew a tire into the wall. Caution. Now, fuel, they can go probably 45 to 48 laps. This caution was with 53 to go. Obviously, they drive around for no reason under yellow for a while. So it became a fuel mileage game. Carson Hocevar got the lead on the restart. Held on to it until about 19 to go, and he cut a tire.
Now, Hocevar knew that he was not going to make it on fuel, so the team was just telling him to push as hard as he could and hope for a caution. Unfortunately, he was the one who had the issue.
And there was no caution either, so that didn't work. He cut a tire, did not spin, did not wreck, was able to bring it into the pits. William Byron inherited the lead with Denny Hamlin, another old man, coming. He was coming hard. By 5 to go, they were side by side. Hamlin got the lead. William Byron runs out of gas on the last lap, and Denny Hamlin beat your favorite driver.
You know, I noticed he said that again. I actually watched this race. It was besides the crashing, it was really good racing.
There was really good racing in the truck race too, except for the crashing. I like Michigan. It's a great track to watch. They just gotta get the crashing on restarts figured out.
I thought that Chris Buescher was going to have a chance at the end, but Denny was too fast for him, and he hung on for his 3rd win of the year, I think.
Yeah, it sounds right.
So next week,
there's all kinds of racing next week.
This week I didn't have anything to report on, so I looked into next week a little bit. NASCAR is in Mexico City. It's at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. That's where Formula One races. It's a nice track. I like it.
Now the trucks are off next week, right? It's just Cup and Xfinity?
I think so. The trucks don't do very many road courses. But so the track, it's 2 2/3 of a mile, 17 turns. I'm not sure if they'll have to change any of the turns. I can't think, because, NASCAR, you're driving a bunch of boats with the steering. There's a couple chicanes they might need to round off a little more, make it into one corner, but we'll see what they do. The race lap record, this is a prediction I'd like to make. The overall lap record, obviously set by Formula One, by Valtteri, our buddy Valtteri Bottas, in 2021 is a 117.7. Now, what do you think NASCAR is going to run? I'm thinking like a low 140, 141.
I was going to say 144, but you'd know better than I would.
Now, NASCAR has been here before, not with the Cup Series, with the Nationwide Series, back 2005 to 2008.
Which is now the Xfinity Series.
And Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch have both won a race in the Nationwide Series here. So they're the more experienced drivers. Not a lot of guys have driven here. From what I've been able to find, it's just those two, and then Brad Keselowski, and then Daniel Suarez. It's kind of his home race, being from Mexico. He started out in the NASCAR Mexico Series, which is kind of like ARCA, I think. I'm not sure. I've never seen it. But he raced at this track 13 times there and won 3 of them. So he's definitely got the most experience. And he'll be looking for a home race win.
So he's somebody to put on your fantasy team if you had one.
Yeah, I certainly would if I had one. I also saw that they will be using the Formula One podium post-race.
Yes, I saw this will be the first time NASCAR does a podium. That's interesting. I know a lot of purists are angry, but purists are always angry about everything. I know that because I am one. You are too. We're just purists about different things.
I like the podium, but that's because I like Formula One.
It doesn't bother me. I don't care either way.
But so yeah, NASCAR in Mexico City. I'm hoping it's a good race. I know sometimes it's painful to watch NASCAR on road courses because they just drive all off the track and bump into people instead of passing them. In the Xfinity Series, though, I think that it's going to be a really good race between Connor Zilic and some of those other guys. I think that Zilic is going to have the advantage, being that nobody in the Xfinity Series has raced there before.
And I haven't seen the entry lists yet for some reason. As of the time of airing, they had not been published. So I just wonder how many Cup guys are going to drop down to the Xfinity Series just to get some experience on the track on Saturday before the big race on Sunday. That'll be something to watch. I bet there'll be a few.
Probably. Other races this week, Formula One is in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. That's at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. That one, I don't think there's any chance of rain this year. It's kind of a street circuit, but it's not a bad street circuit. It's usually decent racing. Do we know that Lance Stroll will be back for his home race?
I was told 99% sure Lance Stroll will be in the car.
I guess you can't fire him in his home race.
Yeah.
You can fire him afterwards and just tell him to stay there.
Just stay home.
Just have the team plane leave without him. Not that I'm suggesting anything, Lawrence, but we're pretty close to Canada. It's probably the closest track to us, so if you need a replacement driver, I don't have the super license points, but I have a better attitude than Lance, at least. I don't yell at my mechanics that I'm too slow in qualifying. Other news, IndyCar is back. They're on an oval. I know you like the ovals.
Yes, I love Indy cars on ovals.
You also are a big Joseph Newgarden fan?
I won't say I love Joseph Newgarden, but I am a fan of Joseph, the driver and the man, yes.
Well, then you're in luck, because IndyCar's at the Worldwide Technology Raceway, where Joseph Newgarden won last year.
That's that one in southern Illinois, or is it in Missouri or somewhere right around there?
We'll just say East St. Louis.
Okay.
And you can decide where it is.
You pick your state.
I don't know much about that track. I don't watch a lot of the ovals, but you enjoy them. So.
I do, and you'll be busy anyway.
I will be quite busy. The 24 Hours of Le Mans is this weekend. It's going to be a good one. There's a lot of teams real close at the top. I know Ferrari's won every race this year, but it's been close. The Alpine, the Peugeot, both French cars have been impressive. It's just been the strategy that's lost them races. I'm I'm hoping BMW has a good showing. I like their team this year, but it's going to be a good Le Mans. I think there's 22 hypercar entries, which is pretty good, I'd say. There aren't as many LMP2s. There's a bunch of GTs. I know the team Akotis, the Lexus cars have been fast lately, so I'd look to them to perform well. But that's my Le Mans analysis, and we'll have a very in-depth race review because I'm going to try to stay up to watch the whole thing.
So it's going to be a longer show next week. So we've got Cup and Xfinity in Mexico on the road course. We've got Formula One up in Canada. We've got Le Mans, the 24 hours of Le Mans, and we've got Indy on the oval. Now, just a side note. Formula One released their schedule. This pisses me off. Speaking of Canada, Formula One screwed with their schedule, and they decided, hey, let's screw the Americans, and we're going to schedule against the Indy 500. So the Formula One race from Canada will be starting about an hour into the Indy 500.
Well, and as we know, the Indy 500 will be rain delayed, so it'll start an hour later than they say. So they'll start at the same time.
But we can't schedule the rain delay. But so the traditional weekend of Monaco to Indy to the Coke 600 has not only been ruined from that standpoint, Formula One, in all their wisdom, has decided we're just going to race right against the most popular race in the country. And that's real smart. So good job, FIA and Formula One. And Muhammad's got to go because that's.
I don't think this
stupid.
is a Muhammad.
It's
decision.
a Muhammad. Everything's a. If I don't like it or if it's dumb, then Muhammad did it.
I don't know that he controls the scheduling though.
He controls everything. Muhammad, fix it, bro. Come on, man. You can't do that. You can't schedule a form because I'm not going to watch your Formula One race. I'm going to watch the Indy 500 like every other red-blooded American. Yeah. Is that it for today?
I'll be watching the Formula One race, but yeah, that's it.
Not in my house, because then it'll show up on their ratings. You can watch it somewhere else. And we will talk to you next week. Thanks for watching.